everyone. I am so sorry I'm late. Look, I'm not even set up right. Y'all just bear with me for a second. Get my microphone right. How's everyone doing today? Let me see who's in the comments. Hey, Lady Navoa. Miss Ty, how you doing? How you doing? Hello everyone. Y'all come on in. We got a good show today because, as my friend Miss Ty would say, I seen something, y'all. Seen it. Who we got? Debbie Snap. Hey, girl. Thank you for joining me over here. Candace Sasha Watts. Hey. Carla Kneeson. Kianida Gupton. I hope I'm saying these names right. Hey, Khadija. Hey, Edna Daniel. Margaret Lampley. Felicia McCollum. Rhonda Walker. Andrea Jones. Hey, girl. Hey, Dawn Griffin. Y'all come on in. Come on in. Great topic tonight, y'all. So I was scrolling through my Instagram, y'all, and I saw something that just it did not sit well in my spirit at all. I feel like this light is a little bit too bright. 1 second, y'all. Yeah, it just did not sit well with me at all. I hate to see women misleading other women. Oh, that's a lot better. Okay. I hate to see it. Hey, Sharon Sides, Karen Moses, Flawed Tea and Talk. Hey, Taquana. Good to see you. Yeah, when I see a woman misleading another woman, I mean, it's like seeing a crime being committed right in front of you. You know, it's so painful, so hard to watch. And then when you have a lot of women in the comments co-signing with the person that's misleading them, it's like it makes me want to vomit, y'all. So there's a woman on Instagram. Her name is Your Family Needs You Now or something like that. And she calls herself a betrayal trauma therapist. Now, Taquana, I know you you'd probably be on her side, but I want to play some of her a few of her videos. Let me see. Y'all bear with me. Share video file. Okay. Brace yourself, y'all. Now, these are just like little 3-4 second clips. So we're going to talk about, and we're going to talk about what she put in her caption. So let me play the first one.
Totally incorrect. You are totally incorrect. And I will not debate you because you don't have my expertise. You don't have my credentials. You are totally incorrect. You are totally incorrect. And I will not debate you because you don't have my expertise. You don't have my credentials.
Okay. So it's the same thing. It's just going to keep looping. So let's read what it says. She says, when a man tries to convince me his bad marriage led him to cheating, he is so wrong. Read why. So when I see this, I'm already doing this, y'all. I'm already doing this. Like, okay. But she wants us to read why. And even the voiceover she did, she's like, you're totally incorrect and you don't have my knowledge and my expertise. So I'm thinking, okay, you're about to tell us, you about to lay down some new information, some new science, some new research. Y'all see my face? That was my face after I read the caption. So let me bring up the caption. Let's see how she's going to break this down. Okay. So I broke it up into 3 sections. This is what she has to say. Bad marriages. Do you want to hear something outrageous? Something so out of this world that it can't possibly be true? Something that would only be seen on a movie screen, never in real life? Get ready, because this might just blow your mind. Here it is. I was in the same bad marriage as my husband, and I didn't cheat. Hold on, there's more. Yep, there it is. I didn't have affairs. Even though my husband withdrew from me, talked to me less, went to dinners with our daughters at restaurants he knew I wouldn't want to go. He even planned, executed, and took a family vacation without me. Yep, and I still kept my heart and body closed to others. Imagine that. Cheating is one of many options that we all have. I mean, that we all have as humans stuck in these bad marriages. It's never the only option. So don't fall for it if your husband is blaming the bad marriage for why he did what he did. He had other options. He chose the worst one. Share this post on your story, blah, blah, blah. Okay, y'all. So I thought it was going to be like this mic drop moment. First of all, started off all wrong. At the bottom here, she said, I was in the same bad marriage as my husband and I didn't cheat. So this is the reasoning that we as women will use. We'll say that, well, I didn't cheat, right? So that means that you as the man shouldn't have cheated, right? Because I was in the same bad marriage. So surely if I could keep it to myself, you should be able to do the same thing. Y'all, this is not happening. My battery is about to die on this computer. Okay. This is ghetto. Okay. Don't be like me. Y'all just hold on 1 second. I'm just going to grab my battery. Don't y'all go anywhere. 1 second. Don't y'all leave me. This is ghetto. Don't be like me. I'm plugging my battery. Plugging my battery in right now. Right when I was getting into the good part. Oh my gosh, where's the outlet? Holy crap, y'all. Oh. Oh, that's why. Y'all, I'm being slow today. It's a struggle stream day, y'all. Okay. Really? Okay. So women will reason that if I had the self-control to not cheat, that means that he shouldn't have cheated. That is okay. And I'm out of breath too. As women, that's the wrong reasoning to have, because men and women are completely different when it comes to the subject of sex. And many women, whether they like it or not, they can vouch and say that my husband has a higher sex drive, as it's just science. Men have more testosterone, that gives them a higher sex drive. So women tend to be able to go longer periods without sex and not need it so much, whereas men have trouble in that area. And this is why, though, you hear the phrase sex sells, but who are they selling it to? This is how you get men to buy things, by means of sexually attractive women. This is why the porn industry is as big as it is. The call girl prostitution industry. Okay. Men love sex. So being in that regard alone, we can see how different men and women are. So when you as a woman say that I didn't cheat, so that means that he shouldn't have cheated, that's the wrong logic. Okay. Now, if you're two women in a relationship, you might have something there, right? Because we're both the same. We're both of the same gender, but men are different. So you can't compare yourself to a man in this situation. By the way, we have any men here? I would love, like, if I drop the link, I would love to have you guys come up and give your perspective on this, because this woman, this betrayal trauma therapist, what she's basically saying is that I know men better than men know men. Because you'll see where she's saying that um, men men will say it's because of the bad marriage. I say it's because of them and the decision that they made. So she's basically saying that men, you're wrong, I'm right. I know why you cheated. You're wrong about why you cheated, but I, as a woman who is not a man, I know why you cheated. I'm more educated on your manhood than you are. By the way, I was looking through her comments. Not one single man in the comments agreed with her. But guess who agreed with her? Women. Women agreed. Because when we speak about cheating, infidelity, we come at it from our angle. We don't come at it from the mind of a man. We're going to call that lady logic. This is how women reason. Women reason based off of how they feel, not based off of how the man feels. You could never imagine how a man feels in a marriage, being married to a woman who he's not getting any sex from. You have no idea as a woman what that feels like. So you cannot tell that man what he should and shouldn't have done. You can't, because you don't know what it's like to be him. You have no idea what it's like for a man to be turned down time after time when it comes to sex. You have no idea how that feels as a man. Not only the lack of sex, but this is how men express their love. Had a man tell me that one time. It's how we express our love to our wives. Sex is a big part of who we are as men. And when we don't get it, bad things start to happen. Let's see who we got. Hey, Miss Rosemary Dean, how you doing? Rhonda Walker says, yes, ma'am, you are right. Hakeem dropping by to show support to one of my favorite content creators. Hey, Hakeem, thank you so much for your support. Jenny Marina, thank you for being here. You're always supporting everyone. I love it. Candace Sasha Watts says, that is a good statement. I felt that same way at first. I felt like I was faithful in my marriage, but my husband wasn't. However, I sent him out there when I refused him sex for months. Yes. And so I just met Candace on my Facebook Live just a little while ago. Candace, she's one of those older women, and I feel like they're rare, that are willing to keep it real about their mistakes and keep it real about, the fact that, hey, I have regrets. I didn't do things right. We need women like Candace. We so desperately need older women, because it's hard to argue with someone who's been 50, 60 years old. Who's 50, 60 years old, that's been where you are, but you haven't been 50 or 60. You haven't been where they are. So they can tell you what it feels like to be here and what you need to be doing right now. So to make sure that you don't make the same mistakes that I made. Candace, you're probably the third older woman that I've spoken to that has told the truth about, just having regrets, wishing you could have done things differently. These other older women, they're lying to us. They're saying that they have no regrets. They saying 50, 40, 50, 60 and fabulous, and I ain't done nothing wrong. They don't want to admit that I just wish I would have done things differently. My second husband, he really wasn't all that bad. I could have wrote it out. They're not honest. So Candace, I just wanted to give you your flowers and say thank you so much, because what you're doing, it actually helps us. It really helps us. You're very appreciated. JG says, as men, we are denied sex. It makes us feel like we are not needed or wanted. Thank you so much. If you're a man and you're watching this, please speak up about this. I repeat, speak up. This lady that you're seeing here behind these words, this betrayal trauma therapist, I ain't never heard of nothing like that. I think it sounds like she made it up, but I could be wrong. This woman, to all the men watching, she believes that she knows you better than you. She's telling you that the reason why you're cheating is not because of your bad marriage. It's because of you. She's placing all the blame on men and no blame on the woman. And I'm someone who thinks, okay, hold both accountable. They both have done things. Why are you just holding the man accountable, but the woman just gets to get away with it? So by her logic, a wife can withhold sex from her husband for a year. And if he cheats on her, she's telling the woman, it wasn't your fault, it was his. It's all his fault. He didn't cheat on you because you withheld sex. He just cheated because he made the decision to cheat. So if you're a man, speak up. Speak up against this nonsense. This is nonsense. Y'all. Let's see. Rosemary Dixon says some couples have an understanding with each other when the wife doesn't have a sex drive. She gives him the okay as long as no love is involved. Girl, we don't deal with them kind of marriages over here. That's outside my scope. We don't do open marriages over here. Hey, Lady Navoa, thank you. Flawed Tea and Talk says, I'm the same way, 46 years old and flawed. And when I tell my story, oh yes, eyes will roll. Not over here. We appreciate it. We appreciate your honesty and your experience, because this helps us. We learn from each other's mistakes. So Taquana, you might have done some things that I haven't done, but based on your story, I'm now less likely to fall into it because of your story. And I don't want to go through what you went through and vice versa. Angela Freeman says withholding sex from your spouse is a no-no, set up for failure. Yes, ma'am. JG says, thank you for having transparent conversations. Yes, I'm a man and we may love our women, but as men, we need that physical and mental, intimate connection in our relationship. So it's needed, y'all. I'm telling you, men and women, we're not the same. And the way this woman reasoned, hold on, let me bring this back up. Matter of fact, let me play the video one more time for those of you who just came in. It's just a little 4-second clip. Here we go. Oops, remove that.
You are totally incorrect. You are totally incorrect. And I will not debate you because you don't have my expertise. You don't have my credentials. You are totally incorrect. You are totally incorrect. And I will not debate you because you don't have my expertise. You don't have my credentials.
Okay. And what she's talking about are the words here. When a man tries to convince me his bad marriage led him to cheating, he is so wrong, and here's why. So for those of you, for you men that are watching, this is what she's saying to you. Imagine her saying this to you personally, if you fell in that category. She's telling you, she knows more about manhood than you. That's what she's saying. Because you're saying, you may be like in her office with your wife trying to get help, and you may be telling her that there were things that my wife was doing that made me feel a way. And when I started getting close to my secretary or my fellow employee, she made me feel things that this woman would interrupt you and say, no, you don't do that here. Nope, because it wasn't your marriage that made you do it. It was just you alone. That's what she said. Is this not insane? This is insane. Okay. So this is the first part of her caption where she goes and explains it. Here's the second part. Yep, there it is. I didn't have affairs. Even though my husband withdrew from me, talked to me less and less, went to dinners with our daughters at restaurants he knew I wouldn't want to go. He even planned, executed, and took a family vacation without me. Ma'am, all you're doing is exposing the kind of wife that you were, because this man had such an intense dislike for you that he said, you know what, I'm gonna take my daughters on a vacation and I'm leaving you behind. What was it about you, ma'am? Like, really talk about it, because even in her caption, and y'all send thoughts and prayers to her husband, by the way, in her caption, she proceeds to blame her husband or blast his imperfections. Y'all, this is what he did. And look at me. You know, it's almost like a virtue signal. Look at me. I was in the same bad marriage and I didn't do any of that. But he was in the same marriage, and not only did he cheat, but look at what he did. He went on a vacation without me. He went to restaurants without. He did all these bad things without me. Ma'am, are you an angel from heaven? You didn't do anything wrong? We know you did things wrong, but guess what you didn't do? You're not being honest and transparent about what you did wrong. You can really tell how full of crap a person is when they come to you about everything that their spouse is doing or did wrong, and they say zero things about what they did wrong. That's how you know they're full of crap. Maybe I shouldn't say that. I need to be nice, y'all. But it automatically makes me not trust the person that's talking. I don't trust you, ma'am. I don't trust you. This man went on vacations without you and took his daughters and said, that's saying something. You're exposing all the bad things your husband did, and you ain't exposed not one single thing that you did. I don't trust you. I don't trust nothing you're saying. And this woman is, this is who's helping your wife, men. What'd she say in the, share this post on your story so other betrayed wives can see why blaming the bad marriage is just wrong. She's even categorizing wives who got cheated on so other betrayed wives. If you give me a break, y'all. So let me take this down. Check out some of these comments. Hold on. This was under this post here. This was under this post. This is from a guy. He said, hey, my bad marriage of 10 years to a lesbian who lied to me and never had any real interest in me eventually led to an emotional and psychotic breakdown where I ended up cheating on her because I was so depressed and lonely. I was contemplating suicide. But hey, blame the men because that's always helpful. Who are you? Avery Carman, that's his name? I love it. Thank you so much for sharing that, whoever you are. But to this comment here, she said she would be telling this man, no. Don't blame your bad marriage on your suicide. You know, don't blame your bad marriage on your psychotic breakdown and your cheating, even though your wife was really a lesbian who lied to you and who wasted 10 years of your life. It's not her fault that you cheated. It's all you. This is your queen that we're looking at. This is who women are listening to. Nothing new here. Just women giving women really terrible advice. Oh, and check out these women here. Agree 100%. That's definitely true. It's a choice. This just hit me so hard. I never thought of it this way. Like she said, something just so deep and profound. Those kind of men are only interested in perpetuating their truth, even if it's like, man, whatever. Define perpetuating. It's got me mad, y'all. Sorry. Here's another one. She's right. If you decide to cheat, it's simply because you wanted to. You could have just left the person. It's all a decision. Being weak makes people blame other stuff. So she said, I love you. I love when women say this, guys. If you decided to cheat, it's simply because you wanted to. You could have just left the person, right? She's saying that you could just leave, as if it's easy to just leave as a man. Like my name isn't on this mortgage. You know? Like I didn't work hard for this money. Like I don't love this house that's, you know, that I'm used to, that all my mail comes to, you know? Like I want to say goodbye to my kids, you know? Men love stability too, not just women. So I love when women say to men who are on the verge of cheating or cheated, you could just leave, as if it's just simple, that simple to just poof, and just pack all your bags and leave. There's a lot that men have invested in. No, ma'am, it's not just so easy to just leave, especially when my kids are involved. You want me to go from seeing my kids every single day to 1 to 2 weekends a month? Just leave? It's that simple, huh? That's what I'm saying. Like, women, we tend to think of things based on our perspective, not the man's, you know? There are consequences for men leaving. Let me see what y'all are saying over here in the comments. I know. Oh, let me scroll up. Okay, Angela Freeman says, as a therapist, there's no such thing as a betrayal trauma therapist. This lady is damaged and needs her own therapist. Hurt people hurt people. Angela, it has the ring. Your comment has the ring of truth. She sounds very damaged. And Angela, could you not tell just from the caption how she put all the blame on her husband, told this, all the bad things that he did, but she didn't mention one bad thing that she did. Think about it. Your husband books a vacation for himself and his daughters and leaves you behind. Why wouldn't a man want to take his wife on a family vacation? You played a role in your husband doing things like that, but you won't say what your role was. You'll only talk about him. So Angela, you're absolutely right. It's looking really damaged. Deborah said some women withhold sex when a man is abusive. Yeah, and we ain't talking about abusive men. We're talking about decent average men who desire a physical connection with their wives. That's who we're talking about. Let's not move the goalposts, y'all, and let's not gaslight here. This is a real issue. Y'all love to... Anyway, Rosemary Dixon, it's crazy, Ashley. Jenny Marina. Okay, that's selfishness. You don't get to withhold and then point the finger. He needs to leave your house on empty. Yes. Yes, Jenny. Y'all know what she means. Y'all know what she means. I feel so sorry for men out here. What I'll tell my male friends is that you want to find a woman who gets joy out of serving other people. Not a woman who is just like a doormat and just gets like walked all over, but she's got to like serving other people, like in the dating phase when you're vetting her. She needs to find joy in it. If she's not happy helping other people, she's eventually not going to be happy helping you. Don't get fooled by the butterfly phase, the beginning phase. That stuff wears off. You want a wife who finds joy in serving her husband, being one flesh with her husband, being a supportive wife. There was a girl I had on my show like a month and some change ago, Family Values, and she said something and I just was like, whoa, that is so true. She said that it's okay to lose yourself in a marriage. Now, that's contrary to the advice that we've been getting for years. Women have been telling women, you don't lose yourself in a marriage. Don't forget who you are, your solo identity. Don't lose yourself. Family Value says, oh, you absolutely must lose yourself. It's a part of the process of bonding and becoming one flesh. There are parts of yourself that you're going to lose, and that's okay. That just comes with the responsibility. It's a part of being married. You have to lose yourself a little bit. There's some parts about yourself that you're still going to have, but the parts of you that would get in the way of your one flesh bond, yeah, it's time to lose it. That means that you might not have so much time for yourself anymore. The stuff that you used to do when you were single, this is the woman's problem. When she gets married, she still comes in with that single mindset. She comes in with the expectation that I should still be able to do the exact same things that I did when I was single. And no, ma'am, you should not. When you get married, it's like you should view it as a lifelong assignment. This is now my duty. And within my duty, I'm going to find pockets of happiness within my duty. You know, we're going to have happy times, but my family comes first. That means the emotional and physical, mental health of my husband is top priority to me. Top priority. The emotional needs of my kids, top priority. These people are my number one priority. This is my responsibility. This is my purpose now that I'm a wife. And it's not to say you can't have other hobbies and you can't do brunch with your friends. We can still have our fun, but you better watch it. Because when you start to fall off the wagon here when it comes to your marriage and things start to get rocky, that's when you start throwing everything off your plate. Everything that's on the plate, it's got to go. Because the health of my family, that's always going to be first. And if you say it's first, I mean, prove it. Prove it in your real life. Lady Navoa, I love listening to her. You know my signature. Jenny Morena. I didn't stay too long in the oh, y'all having a conversation. JG said, I've actually had a therapist do this to me in a past relationship. She didn't hold my ex accountable even when she was dead wrong. Yes, stay away from these people. I'm sorry to all the female therapists that actually are very balanced and that are in favor of the man and the woman. I apologize. I'm not talking about you. But even you guys know that female therapists can be a great danger to a marriage, to a heterosexual, so-called traditional marriage. It's a threat. That's why I say you have to vet your therapist. You have to vet them properly. You don't just go on Google and just call a therapist and schedule an appointment. No, there's a list of questions that you must ask your therapist to make sure that you guys are on the same page. You have to. And I would suggest either a male therapist, or I would suggest there are some married couples who they're both therapists, and they deal with couples, right? So you get the man and the woman's perspective. But you have to be careful with therapists. Thank you for sharing that, JG. Y'all, we gotta whew. Okay. Okay, Karen Moses, that's so true. Ashley, Sheila Josie's, there are also consequences for cheating. So are you saying it's okay to cheat, but not okay to leave? No, I'm not saying that it's okay to cheat. I'm saying I understand why men cheat now, because before I didn't understand it. And I would, as a woman, I just gave the typical answer like, oh my God, he a dog, girl, I can't believe he cheated. When you're married, you should never, ever, ever cheat. I don't care how bad it gets, you just don't cheat, right? But the more effort I put into understanding men and putting myself in their shoes, talking to men, and as they're opening up to me about how it feels to be a man in that situation, and I'm really listening and seeking to understand, I started to realize that in the topic of sex, men and women are not the same. We are so completely different. So we are putting, as women, our expectations on men. So Sheila, I'm not saying that it's okay to cheat, but as a woman who's withholding sex, to expect a man to not cheat on you when you're on your 6th month and you just not trying to handle your business is nuts. It's nuts to me. It's nuts to me. And when your husband cheats on you, I don't feel bad for you at all. It's not that I agree with what he did, but I feel no sympathy for you. None. You cannot expect a man to just like to just sit on ice and wait for you. It's really controlling. It's so controlling, y'all, to expect that. Because basically what you're saying is the only way that you will have sex as my husband is if I okay it. We only have sex on my terms when I feel like it. Basically, that man is being controlled by a woman, or he's like allowing himself to be controlled by a woman. Basically, you're saying, now that I'm married to you, you are in control of when and how I can have sex. And as a man, I don't mean to discourage men, single men in here, but as a man, like I'm looking at that like, I don't need to be married as a man. I just need to Hugh Hefner this thing out until I die. That's what Hugh Hefner did. Because it's better than being tied to just one woman who only thinks about herself. I would take the Playboy lifestyle any day if I was a man who wasn't Christian, you know? Because when I hear about some of this stuff, especially when I watch videos like the one we just watched, it's like, I don't see how men do this. How do you do this? JG says, and some women withhold sex as a manipulation tactic. Absolutely. Barbara says, always told my partner before it comes to cheating, always give the other person the chance to ask why and how to correct it before it happens. And that's fair. That is fair, Barbara. That communication. But if he's communicating and he's complained about a lack of sex, you can't say you didn't see it coming. And even if y'all don't communicate about it, you still know what the possibilities are by neglecting your husband. We really don't need our husbands to come and just give us this warning. We know. That's why when it comes to your marriage, you've got to keep things tight. You have to keep things tight. You don't even want it to get to that point. And even if you guys kind of start to drift a little bit, just don't stay apart for too long. Bring it back together. Nobody's perfect. Marriages are going to go through ups and downs. Just don't stay down for a long period of time. Be determined to keep it together. JG, a humble woman is a true attraction. Yep. A healthy marriage is selfless, not selfish. If you can operate as a single person in a marriage, then so should your spouse. The rules are for thee, not me. Nope, not realistic. Absolutely. You lose parts of yourself, not your entire self. Losing yourself leads to depression and sometimes loneliness. This should not be taken out of context. Man, it'd be leading to depression and loneliness because y'all be watching these hot girls on Instagram. That's why y'all be falling into depressions, because you're at home. This is opinion. This is my theory. You're at home taking care of your kids, your husband, like you should be. But when you turn on Instagram and you see these hot girls over in Bora Bora, the Maldives, wearing the latest outfits, free and just traveling, and you're at home, living like a boring life, that will make you depressed. Even average people who are not married and dedicated to families, they report that social media makes them depressed because they're seeing everyone else living, these lifestyles, and they're not able to, they can't afford it. So it makes them feel depressed. Because back in the day, you listen to women back in the day, the dream, the highest standard, the ceiling was mother and wife. There's nothing that a woman wanted more. And if a woman was barren, if she couldn't have kids, that's what led to depression back in the day and loneliness. That's what was making women want to take themselves out and not even be here anymore if they couldn't have children. That was depression back in the day. But now depression today is losing yourself. It's just funny. Women back in the day had no problem losing themselves, you know? But now that you have, you know, these different types of women, these hot girls, these feminists, and women who are trying to be traditional minded, they're watching other women. And it makes them feel like they're missing out on something. That's my theory. Because when I talk to older women, that's not what they say. They're not saying they was depressed back in the day. If they could have the husband and the kids, they feel like they won in life. That to them was like the man who became a multimillionaire. That was success for women. But why isn't that success for women today? What's changed? Okay, y'all, we're gonna move on. I'm gonna bring up her next video. Homegirl, like my girl Angela said in the comments, damaged. Okay, so here's the second one.
Wish I could be creative.
Oh, sweetie, you are. You have a great talent for creating difficult situations.
I do.
Sure.
Wish I could be creative.
Oh, sweetie, you are. You have a great talent for creating difficult situations.
Okay. So this is the second video, guys. And as you can see, she says, if you've been cheated on, please know this. You are not the problem. I'll read it again before I take a sip of my tea. You are not the problem. You are not the problem? How do you know that, ma'am? This is not a one size fits all situation. Sometimes the wife was not the problem, and sometimes she was the problem. But you just gave some real general advice to where no matter what category I fall in, if I were to be scrolling on Instagram and I were to see this, you could actually be validating my stupidity, because I could be a wife that is the problem, but just doesn't believe she's the problem. And when I read your post, you just validated my stupidity. You didn't help me grow. Women like this exist, guys. She said, if you think about this, is that a fact? If you've been cheated on, you're not the problem. And then she goes on to say the cheater is the problem. Why can't they both be the problem? It varies. Sometimes the husband's the problem. Sometimes the wife is the problem. And then sometimes they're both the problem. So by you putting this video out, you can actually mislead women into believing that they're not the problem when they have been the problem for many years. Here's what her caption under this video says, y'all. You are not the problem. I remember so many fights with my husbands back in the day where he would tell me how absurd I was being when I was upset or triggered. He would get angry at me for being angry at him for cheating on me. It was such a vicious, traumatic cycle. By the way, guys, this is her side of the story, and we don't trust her side of the story. I'm speaking for everyone in the comments. We don't trust her side of the story. She said he would get angry at me for being angry at him for cheating on me. Girl, this man took his daughters on vacation and left you behind. I know based off of that, you were a problem. And I know, like, women that are cut from this cloth, their sides of the story are so jaded. I would love to hear her husband's side of the story. Because even when she says he would get angry at me for being angry at him, for cheating on me, how do we know that's really the reason he was angry at you? How do we know it wasn't just your nagging and your negativity? Probably the same thing that drove him to cheating in the first place. And it's still his decision. He still made a decision, but you're not helping women. You're not saying that, or like Miss Candace said in the comments that, hey, I was a certain way and this helped to lead or influence him to do the things he did. Miss Candace is willing to take responsibility for her actions, not condoning what he did, but she's taking responsibility for her part in it because I played a part in you doing that. Let's move on. She said, ladies, you have every right to be angry at your husband. And if he understood betrayal trauma, he would understand on a much deeper level why you are so angry. He would actually show empathy like my husband has to learn. Angela, the one in the comments, that's the therapist. Now, if you're a therapist, you're qualified. But when I read that, it's starting to sound like a personality disorder. Like she might be, I don't want to say the N word. I don't like throwing around the word, like narcissist. I don't, and sociopath, because I'm not really qualified. But when I read that, I just got this feeling in my spirit that it just, and I could be wrong. I don't know this lady, y'all, but just, I don't know. But something's not sitting well in my spirit because she said, ladies, you have every right to be angry at your husband. And if he understood betrayal trauma, he would understand on a much deeper level, blah, blah, blah. Not looking at it from his perspective, like understanding him and how he felt betrayed in his marriage, maybe by some of the things that you did. One of them is withholding sex. Men can feel betrayed in that too. What about how you have made the man feel? She has no remorse for men who go through things in marriage. She doesn't care what the women have done to the men. She does not, y'all, she doesn't care. She does not, she doesn't care about men. And it sounds a lot like she's projecting her personal issues on everybody else. But this is a woman who has publicly created a platform to educate and help betrayal trauma victims. This is nuts, you guys. She said, empathy is not a normal response for them. If they actually possess actual empathy, they would never have chosen the path that they did. I wonder in them choosing the path that they did and what the wife did to influence that. I wonder if the wife had empathy for the husband when she was doing the things that was making him upset. And guess what? She never stopped. She kept going and going. She stopped caring about his feelings. She didn't care about if he ate or not, if he had breakfast, dinner, doesn't care about how his day went, only cares about herself. I wonder if wives have this level of empathy that you're expecting husbands to have for their wives. Anyway, she goes on to say, now with all that being said, I want to point this out. Staying in an angry state is not healthy. It's not healthy for you, and it's not healthy for your children if you have any. Did y'all catch that? Who caught it? I'm going to cash out somebody $10 if you caught that. I'm going to read it again. I want to see if y'all caught this. Who's going to be the first to catch it? Now, with all that being said, I want to point this out. Staying in an angry state is not healthy. It's not healthy for you, And it's not healthy for your children if you have any. Did y'all catch it? Let me see. Let me check these comments. I want to see if y'all catch it. I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait like 10 seconds, see if y'all caught it. Yes, Angela, she said it. She's like, yes, narcissistic personality disorder. Everyone is always wrong. Something is wrong when you're always the victim. Yes, Angela. I want to say it, y'all. The therapist said it. She said it, not me. I'm not qualified. But did y'all catch it? I'm going to tell y'all. I'm gonna read it again. Yes, Hakeem. What's your Cash App, Hakeem? Put your Cash App in. Hakeem just got $10 richer. He said, omission of the husband might as well be BLM, just wives, and children matter. Exactly. She left the husband out. She said, now, with all that being said, I want to point this out. Staying in an angry state is not healthy. It's not healthy for you, and it's not healthy for your children. She doesn't, wives, she doesn't care about your husband. And this is who wants to advise you. She does not care about the health of your marriage. She only cares about you. She's pro-woman. Pro-woman sounds good when you're a woman, but in the long run, it doesn't work out well. Because if you have women that are advocating only for you, you will suffer later on down the line. Because you'll put your kids on the back burner, you'll put your husband on the back burner, you'll put you first, and you'll never be fulfilled. I believe what Jesus said in the scripture about there is more happiness in giving than in receiving. When you receive so much, you lose appreciation for it. When you're only looking to receive, when you're only looking out for you. And when you turn 60, 70, and you don't have a husband around you, you don't have grown kids, grandchildren, a legacy, because you couldn't keep your marriage together, because you let nutcases advise you. Then that's when you realize that all that pro-woman stuff was a load of crap. You want to surround yourself around people who are pro-family, who are going to hold you accountable. My real friends care just as much about my husband as they do me. No more sister code in marriages. Now it's, how would your husband feel about that? What does your husband say about this? Girl, don't do that. Okay, because how's that going to make him feel? How would you feel if he did that to you? Those are the people you need to be around, not women like this. And then she got the nerve to probably be charging people money. I'm going to pay you to ruin my marriage. Okay. Whew. You see it, JG. You see it. Candace said, I caught it, but she is saying it, but do she believe it in her own words? I believe she does. I believe she does. People are crazy. Flawed T and Tog, part of being pro-woman is holding women accountable as well. I don't think people understand that tough love is for empowerment. Yeah. So that would be the new pro-woman mindset. But the current one that's active today is just take up for the woman. Don't hold her accountable. Put her first. Put her feelings first. Her feelings matter above everyone else's. Put yourself first. You know, that's pro-woman. But I see what you're saying. That's the real pro-woman. Tough love. Because if I'm really pro you, I know long-term what's going to be best for you. And what's going to be best for you is you holding your family together. Not you and just you. Because that's not going to work out well. You're going to have regrets when you get older. So if I'm really pro-woman, like Flawed T and Talk is saying, if I'm really pro-woman, I'm going to give you tough love because this is going to work out well for you in the future. My husband said that he was watching a content creator, and the content creator was telling a story about how like they were celebrating his grandma's like 100th birthday, some crazy number. And he said that no one cared about like her career or how many trips she went on. She was in a room with her husband and her 10 kids and all of her grandkids. And I bet, in that moment, she felt good about herself, that whatever problems she endured them in her marriage. And now here she is at the end of her life, enjoying the fruits of her labor, her sacrifice, her discipline. Listening to this woman here will have you in that room alone, have you in a nursing home somewhere where your kids don't even talk to you. That's where this woman will have you. Okay. Let me, okay, that's the third one. Okay. We're going to bring up the last video, guys. Last one.
I actually do cuss a little. Do you really? Mm-hmm. What's your favorite cuss word? No. Since that make y'all madder than any other cuss word. Love you, bye. I actually do cuss a little. Do you really? Mm-hmm. What's your favorite cuss word? No. Since that make y'all madder than any other cuss word.
Okay. So this is the last video I'm going to share, guys. She's got more videos, but they were much too painful for me to watch. It says, healing after betrayal requires learning to say no and no more to who and what doesn't support who? You. We'll read it again. Healing after betrayal requires learning to say no and no more to who and what doesn't support you. This is her advice on how to heal after infidelity, the word no. It's the very same word that led your husband to infidelity in the first place, and she's telling you to keep saying it. She wants you single. She's good. She's good. Let me Google this. I really should have did my homework, guys, before I came on the stream. I just want to Google Betrayal Trauma Therapist, see if there's something on Google about it. Trauma. Now, what I'm seeing is therapists who specialize in trauma and abuse, but I'm not seeing betrayal trauma therapist. What I believe is that this lady has created a lane of her own, Some people do this for money. They see they see where, in a career where you can get in like a certain niche, kind of create your own lane, and it's something different. And she knows that infidelity is common. So I'm wondering if she's thinking like, this is a way that I can stand out and make more money. I could be wrong here. But it's just hard for me. It's really difficult for me to grasp a therapist not understanding that she would do more harm than good. Just with what I just read. Learning to say no after your husband cheats on you. And obviously she's talking to a woman who she wants to work through her marriage. So in wanting to work through your marriage, why would you advise a woman to get comfortable with the word no and saying no more to who and what doesn't support you? Not the union, not the marriage, but just you. Let's see how she doubles down in her caption. She says, no matter what you've done before, you can change what you do today and every day going forward. A betrayed wife puts up with a lot of BS. The back and forth of her husband to the AP or the porn, the lack of understanding and empathy from him toward her pain, and his complete and utter disregard for her feelings. At some point, though, she finds the courage to say more, to add more to the word no. She describes what the wife deals with after the infidelity as BS. She assumes that it's just BS, that it has no meaning. What the wife is going through, that's not BS. But what she puts, or I'm sorry, let me rephrase it. What the husband puts up with from the wife is not BS. What the wife puts up with from her husband is BS. Never acknowledging the things that the wife could be doing to push him into infidelity, masturbation, porn. She never acknowledges it. And then she goes on to say the lack of understanding and empathy from him. And no mention of the lack of understanding and empathy from her to understand him better. Only, see, with women like this, they believe that only men should make an effort to understand women and to empathize, right? But when it comes to women doing the work and listening to and understanding men, that's when the goalpost starts moving. That's when they start, gaslighting. That men are not creatures that also need to be understood. See what this second one says. She's like, no more. No matter what you put up with in the past, if you're ready to say no more to disrespect, devaluing, and deprivation, then you might be ready to say yes to my next group coaching program. Y'all, ooh, she out here coaching people. Oh, hey, B9. I'm tired today. I'm tired. This lady wore me out. JG said, using the word no as an excuse not to take accountability. That's what it sounds like to me. Rosemary, I agree with you. Candace, she chooses to stay bitter instead of becoming better. Yeah. And so now a bitter woman is now calling herself trying to help to heal women, but it's clear that she's not even healed from her past. She's not. I wouldn't be surprised if her husband's on another vacation right now as we're talking without her while she's in her room making TikTok videos. Angela said, I would love to hear the husband side. Spoken like a true therapist, Angela. Wanting to hear both sides to analyze, what's really happening here. Candace says, people need to self-evaluate. What did you do to help ruin the marriage? Stop finger pointing at others, but point them fingers to you as well. 2 people said, I do, not 1 person. Amen, Candace. Yeah, because I'm going to tell you something. Something powerful happens, like when you and your husband have both been messing up. And as a woman, when you come to him and you genuinely apologize for your part, and you go into detail about the wrong things that you've been doing as a woman, something powerful happens in the room where his heart starts to melt. Something powerful happens when you focus on your own accountability and you don't focus on his. So it shouldn't go something like, I'm sorry for what I did, but I just feel like you. Sometimes we don't need therapy. Sometimes we just need humility. Babe, I was wrong for what I did. Will you forgive me? Apologize to him and expect nothing in return. Most of the time, it motivates them to then realize what they've been doing wrong. The defense is down, right? Because she came to me not to nag me about what I'm not doing and none of that. She just came and apologized for her part. That now motivates me to want to apologize for the things that I haven't been doing right. Focus on yourself. You so worried about him. Y'all, this lady has tore my nerves up. I'm going to sorry, y'all, forgot to drop the link. I'm gonna give y'all like a couple minutes if anyone wants to come up and just give their thoughts on what we've talked about, especially men. I'm really inviting you men to please say something. This woman is basically telling other women, hey, I know more about your man than he does about himself. I understand men better than men understand men. So you need to listen to me. So women, be careful about who you're taking your advice from. You need to be very discerning. It's part of why I created this platform, because I wanted like-minded women to come together. I wanted to create a safe place for women to be able to come and get sound advice from other women, because bad advice is everywhere. It's everywhere. Rarely do I find a woman who gets it. Most women don't get it, but they're advising other women. And they themselves don't even get it. So then you take another woman and you put her on the same hamster wheel that you're on. I would advise you to seek out really honest and wise men and get counsel from them, and let them know that I'm seeking to really understand how men tick, because I want to win in this relationship game. And in order to win, I have to be able to cooperate with a man, okay? I got to play the game with my man in order to win. But if I lack understanding and wisdom on men, then I can lose this game. So I would highly recommend wise men. Women, I'm just not too sure about, because there are too many women like this woman out here who will mislead you and will use emotional tactics on you as a woman to get you to believe in your own nonsense. Women nowadays do not help women. All we do is keep each other in a perpetual cycle of nonsense.
I do.
Sure.
Hey. Hey, JG, how you doing?
Doing good, doing good, doing good.
Good. It's good to see you. I seen you in the comments. Thank you for coming up.
Yes, ma'am. No problem.
So what do you think? I saw some of your comments, but just overall, what do you think about this?
Well, personally, I actually had a therapist do exactly that to me about the manipulation part and tactic. She was pointing out everything I did wrong every session, but not do that with my ex at all. I could point out to her the time and date of what she did something, and she acted like she didn't do anything wrong.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I said every single time. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
So whose idea was it to go to therapy? Was it like your idea?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So did you find the therapist?
She found it, but it was my idea to go there. So,
okay. Okay. So you just weren't really aware. You kind of had the mindset that all therapists are created equal. You didn't really.
I was thinking that she was getting somebody that was fair and balanced. And got in the room, she was definitely a feminist.
Wow.
Feminist views all day, every day.
Wow.
For example, I study my word, I read my Bible every day, every week. And she kind of came in with this perspective of I wasn't even a believer. She's like, "Oh, have you ever heard of John Gray?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I listen to him every week."
Mm,
Like, "Have you ever heard of Bishop Jakes?" "Yeah, I've been watching him since I was in high school. Yeah, I know who he is." Like, but
mm,
and we got home. I was doing the homework. I was doing the self work, and I was turning on, John Gray, and she's like, "Oh, cut that off. I don't want to watch that." "Oh, I thought you want to do the self work," but she didn't.
mm. She was just looking for someone to kind of validate her and how she was feeling. But sometimes, like, we as women will do that. Like, we want to go to therapy because we want the therapist to basically tell our husbands what we've been saying and that we were right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's deep. It's really deep. And so what do you think about the therapist that I played? Did you have any, like, what are your thoughts on women like her who think that they know men better than men know men or know themselves?
Honestly, it comes from a place of there's a lot of unhealed hurt, and I feel
Mhm.
like she came into the professional world of being a counselor, saying, "I'm going to make men pay." That
Mm,
was her, mindset and her perspective, versus how can I help men and women? I'm just going to help women only.
mm,
And it's the same thing for men as well. If we come in with the mindset of I'm only going to help men, that's going to hurt the family unit. But we
mhm,
need the family unit to get back to the foundation of Christ. We need
mhm.
that husband and wife dynamic. We need that.
Right,
So yeah.
right. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I agree 100%. And I'm of the belief that, you need, like you said, you need both.
Hmm.
Both have to be held accountable. We're both not perfect. We both have things that we need to work on.
Hmm.
So to have just a person being so one-sided is extremely damaging.
Hmm.
I feel like they cause more damage because for the man walks away feeling so, like, just discouraged, feels
Right.
like it's a waste of time, a waste of money.
Hmm.
And he can even leave feeling more like confused, like
Yeah.
not clear on
Yeah.
things, confused, flustered, frustrated. So
Yeah.
now he's taking that energy back home.
Hmm.
And so
Yeah.
there's no, like, good feeling like, "Oh, it was a good session
Yeah.
today, and,
Yeah.
babe, I'm so glad you shared that. Like, I wanna make the steps, and maybe next time we see her, we can talk." There's not that. It's
Yeah.
now I'm more mad than
And when I went,
before because 'cause y'all
yeah,
just jumped me in there. I
yeah,
feel like I was jumped.
yeah.
You know?
I actually came home and actually did that one time. I was like, "Yo, like, what happened?" I feel like I just got blindsided. Like,
Mhm.
praise God, I actually had spiritual parents that were giving me, wisdom and advice, when I left the session. So I'm on the phone like, "Hey, this is what happened. Can you pray for me? What I need to do, better, or what can I?"
That's so nice.
So yeah.
That's cool. That's
Mhm.
cool. And you seem really spiritual minded. Do you have any advice for when, because it sounds like and I don't know your story, I don't want to be nosy, but what advice would you have for men, like, going through, like,
Mhm.
what you went through? Like, what's, like, a valuable lesson that you learned from your relationship that you would advise men on?
Take time to heal.
Mm,
Take time to do your self work, because the more self work you do, the more you know your self worth. And if
mhm,
you don't know your self worth, like you said earlier, a man will be trapped by a woman's sexual desires or needs.
mm,
"Oh, I'm not giving you sex today unless you do this." And that man, if he's not aware of who he is and who he belongs to as a man of God, then he'll get sucked into that trap every time.
yeah,
Real man that is a man of God, he's going to be able to say, "You know what? The sex is nice, but we need to work on this.
yeah,
Work on ABC. Can we work on that today? Can we sit down and pray and have Bible study, or can we go to somewhere and just have alone time or a date night? Like,
mm,
what can we do to make this relationship productive,
right,
selfish, and, oh, let me feed my flesh for this 15, 20 minutes, hour, however long it may be. Let me do something productive that can bless us mentally, emotionally, spiritually." So, yeah.
right. That's good advice. Good advice. What advice, like from a man's perspective, because this is really a platform for wives and for us
Mhm,
to learn and use these things as teaching lessons. So while I have you here,
mhm,
what advice would you give to women now who are watching? I have women who are married, I have women who are single,
mhm.
from a man's perspective, because I'm never, I'll never be done learning about men. I'm always going to be on a quest to learn as much as I can.
Mhm.
What's a gem that you would give to us as women, to just to help us better understand kind of what we're dealing with so that we don't make, really stupid mistakes to mess up our relationships?
Right. I think you said it earlier, honestly, humility.
Mm,
I mean, you can't go wrong with that. Humility is the number one key. Like you said earlier, if a man and woman is coming to the table and saying, hold up, I messed up.
mm,
I jacked up.
yeah.
Babe, you said something wrong, you did something wrong, but I also was wrong too in my approach or my delivery. So let me step my game up and just look at what I did wrong. And I think the main thing people are missing is that when you step into a marriage, marriage is a magnifying glass to your issues. It's
Mhm.
you.
Ain't that true?
That's what the word does. It's a mirror. It
Mhm,
helps you point. Marriage is basically God's love on earth. It's his expression
mhm.
on earth. And people don't see that. They see this, oh, it's me getting to the bag. It's me doing whatever I want to do. And it's like, no, if you're humble, you can do anything because you're walking in agreement with God and your mate. So,
Mhm.
yeah.
That's true, and even, I see you're a Bible reader, but that's what was one of the, personality traits that it said in, Timothy that would take place in the final part of the days was that men would be lovers of self, and we see that so much today, just out in the world, but even it's infecting marriages too, being so in love with self, putting self above everyone else,
Hmm.
that really hurts marriages because as a man, you're not supposed to put yourself first, and then as a wife, you're not supposed to put yourself first. And when you have two people that's putting the other one first,
Right.
both needs are being taken care of. Versus if both parties are putting themselves first, or one person's putting the wife, or some husband's putting the wife first, wife's putting herself first, or vice versa. That's when it gets messed up. But when two people are doing their part,
Hmm.
everybody gets fed.
Right.
It's like a well-oiled machine. So that's something that we have to watch. And the same medicine that I give out, I also have to take that same medicine too. I'm not perfect. I'm not a goddess that floats among women. I still have my flaws. The only thing is, like, I actively work on my flaws, and I'm honest with myself and I'm honest with other women. So I know maybe it can come off a little harsh when I'm critiquing these videos. I'm the same way with myself. I feel like that's the only way you can grow. The foundation has to be honesty. You
Mhm.
have to get a grasp on what's real first. Then we
Yeah.
can build on top of that.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But
And
thank you so much, JG. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for coming up. And
thank you.
we
Thank
really need men like you to give your perspective, because it kind of validates what I'm saying here. Because I'm just a
Right.
woman, but if I get a man to come up here and say, "No, it's true, y'all," you
Right.
know, that helps women to see, oh, okay, well, maybe there's some truth to it. So I appreciate
Yeah.
you and the other guys that are here that support my platform. I really do.
Yes, ma'am.
All
Thank,
right. All right, JG. Thank you so much. We'll see you
thank
next time.
you. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. That was awesome. So, y'all, what are y'all saying? Oh, Flawed Tea and Talk says, yes, JG. Yeah, he was pretty cool. Seems like a nice person. Hakeem said KS mentioned on his show on multiple occasions Christian feminist, and he also mentioned the psyche field as being difficult to find wives from among yeah, other career fields. Yeah. I love me some Kevin Samuels too. They didn't like that, me being a Kevin Samuels supporter, but um it is what it is. The truth is the truth. Um Flawed Tea and Talk, this is a really good question. How do you interview a therapist to see if they are a good fit? What should we look for? I want to do a video on that, but I'll just tell you really quick and in short, you want to make sure that your views align. What are your views? So, Taquana, I know you mentioned that you're a Christian. It would make sense to get a Christian therapist. And even when you find, a list of Christian therapists out of the, let's say, list of 5, you want to call them, you want to have a little conversation, see how Christian are you? Let me ask you a few questions, based on my beliefs on life, the role of a woman, the role of a man. I'm picking your brain to see what your foundation is before I hire you to be my therapist. Okay. No more just Googling a therapist. Okay. I choose you. You available this? No. I need to see what your mind is like. So make sure that your therapist is in alignment with your views. And if they're on some, it's really not about my views. It's about, and when she starts getting into deep philosophical stuff, tell her good day. Hang up the phone and just keep looking. Because I've actually talked to a therapist who was Christian, and I asked her a series of questions. We had a real good conversation. And she's like, yes, girl, I'm all about that. I told her why I was skeptical of women, of female therapists. She said she felt me 100%, and they do exist. And she shared her views with me. The role of a man. She said she's married. She shared with me how her marriage works, how they do things. Oh, girl, you're hired. You're hired. When can we start? Okay. Well, guys, I really enjoyed the stream. Like with all my streams, I hope you guys walked away with something. It's not just, I don't do these, well, they are fun. I don't do them just for fun, but they're really for educational purposes. It's not to gossip about people, but it's to, really use things as teaching moments. That was a really good teaching lesson because I even learned a lot. So I hope you guys took away some things. One of them being not all therapists are created equal. You have to vet your therapist and you have to ask them a series of questions to make sure that they're in alignment with not just your beliefs, but you and your spouse. I would do a group call with the therapist first. So you both can talk to the therapist. You both need to come together and talk about what we would need in a therapist, the type, and then you both need to agree on a therapist together. Don't just go hiring therapists, guys. Big mistake. There's way too many simps and feminists out here that have gotten degrees in psychology, that are trying to get away from traditionalism. So it's very, very important. Another thing is women. We have a different breed of woman out today. You cannot just be listening to women. I don't care how good it sounds. Automatically assume that it's flawed in some way. You need to be very careful of what you're taking in your mind because it can hurt you in the long run. Another thing is hopefully, even as you hear women speak, being able to notice and point out certain things and what they're saying to be able to call bullcrap on it. The woman that we watch, she placed all the blame on her husband. No blame on herself. That's a red flag. Automatically pull the plug, stop listening to her, scroll on. Okay. So those are just a few things I can think of off top that you guys should be taking with you. So I had a great time. Thank you all for joining me. Thank you, Candice. She said, this was awesome, Ashley. Looking forward to talking to you soon. You as well. Deborah said, thanks so much. Great topic. I gained some wisdom from this. Awesome. Hakeem said, let's help our sister reach 2K subs before the end of the month. I would love that. That'd be so cool. I would so love that. That would be an accomplishment. If y'all are liking and sharing the video, also when I end it, if you guys leave comments on the video, that, you know, shows YouTube, you know, engagement. And that's how I can get in the algorithm. So when the video ends, if you could like the video and just leave like a quick comment on, you know, your thoughts on the video, that would help me out a lot as well. And that would help me get to that 2K. Karen Moses also said, thanks, Ashley. Definitely learned a lot from this topic. Miss Ty said this was good, sis. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you all for joining. And y'all, Tuesdays, 8 p.m., join me right here on my YouTube channel. I enjoyed you guys, and I will see y'all next Tuesday.